All right, guys, welcome back. 1776 or bust. And on the table, you see this little beauty right here, which, if you don't recognize it, this is a Beretta APX Centurion. This, however, is the RDO, and that is the red dot optic ready version of the Centurion. So right now they have it in the full size, and they also have it available in this frame. They did not make it in compact because it really wouldn't make sense to do that, because the compact slide is the same length as the Centurion. So let's say, for example, you want a little bit less space here. You can actually buy the compact frame and a couple of magazines, and then you have basically the compact RDO without having to buy a whole new gun. So that's kind of cool. That's kind of intriguing. I'm not going to lie. It might be something that I play around with a little bit later, but right now I absolutely love the Centurion model. I think it's a very good cross between, functionality, size, and carryability, which is a big thing for me. Now, what you're going to notice here is that this RDO, or this optic-ready version of the Centurion, actually has the Holosun 508T. Now, I have not even shot this gun. As a matter of fact, this is the first time I'm actually reviewing this gun. But, when I look at this gun, there's a lot of things about it that I like. There's some things that I think are a little bit of a downside to this particular brand of firearm, and it's something that I've said a million times already with the Beretta in general. So what I want to do is kind of go over through some of the features. Again, if you've seen the Centurion, this is not going to be much different than anything else. Again, everything is very, very much similar to every other Centurion, with the exception, again, of the mounting plate, and then, of course, the ability to mount an optic on it. Getting a good close look to it, you can see that the mounting plate is made out of steel, and it is flush against the actual slide, albeit it is a little thick, and you can see the thickness of it right there. So it allows the optic to sit a little bit higher than maybe some people would like, which again kind of eliminates the ability for the standard sights that come with this gun to have any co-witnessing factor involved. So that's kind of a downside to this. However, so far, just kind of mounting it, and again, the guns are clear. It seems like it's well balanced. You don't necessarily feel the added weight, even though this is their titanium version of it. This is a little bit heavier than a 507C, but at the same time, you don't really feel the weight. As a matter of fact, it feels very, very light in the hand. And on top of that, it keeps the balance of the Centurion, which is one of the reasons why I like this model so much, because even with the magazine, you have just a little bit of space in there. Again, if I had a Glock 19, I would show it to you so that you can see the comparison a little bit closer. Again, I'll be getting one soon, but unfortunately, it's not here. Thanks, New York. But nonetheless, it is roughly the same equivalence in size to a Glock 19 in the grip, with just a slightly shorter muzzle. This is about 3.8 inches, whereas the Glock is 4. So, 0.2 of an inch is not really that bad. And again, I don't think it's really going to affect your accuracy nor your ability to put shots on target. One of the things about the APX that I absolutely love, and it's kind of funny because I was actually putting this up against my M&P 2.0 Compact. And I love the Compact. I love the 2.0 series. I think it's a fantastic gun by Smith. But ultimately, this gun tends to be my favorite for the simple fact that the ergonomics are slightly better. And even with the very large grip on here, and you can see that this kind of comes up into the frame, even with that large grip, the gun is still very ergonomic. You still get a nice feel of the gun. You have a lot of that beaver tail, if you want to call it that holds right into your hand. And it allows this gun to be very, very easily controlled. And that is one of the reasons why I highly recommend this to people who are looking for a very good polymer striker-fired handgun. Now, of course, it has the Beretta, these serrations on here that, like them or hate them. I think it really is dependent upon the person. But so far, they've been very functional. I haven't had any issues racking the slide on the front or even going on the back where there's an optic. So it is very easy to do that. There's really no issues that I have found with this gun. And this is not the first APX I've owned. I've owned another Centurion, which I wound up selling to buy this one, because when I bought the original Centurion that I had, this one wasn't released until literally about 2 weeks after I got it. So it was kind of a bummer, but nonetheless, totally worth it. So right now, again, it has the Holosun 508T on the top of it. Again, I have not shot this gun, so I can't tell you, what it's going to be or how it's going to feel with the optic on there. I will be shooting it hopefully tomorrow and then following up with a review on that. But right now, the APX Centurion RDO is, in my opinion, a fantastic option for people if you want to go out there and you want to get a striker-fired polymer handgun that has the ability to mount an optic to it. Now, keep in mind, there's a very crowded field right now with these handguns. You've got your Glock MOS series. You've got your full-size Masada, which can go against the full-size RDO on this platform. You have your P320 series that has like 15 different ones that, it's the X5, the X72, this and that and everything else. But, there's definitely some very good options out there and a lot of good competition. But after, kind of owning almost all of them and just feeling the way that this feels in my hand, I have to say this would be my go-to gun. As a matter of fact, I'm actually considering buying another one of these without the optic ready version just to have as a carry gun until I become a little bit more proficient with the whole red dot system. And in that case, if that's the way you're going to go, I would highly recommend that right now. All the prices on these guns have dropped considerably. Any of the non-optic versions, I've seen them as low as $330. And again, I know some people always say, well, where did you see that? You know what? You guys have to shop around. I can tell you right now, they are online. I'm actually buying this gun in an all FDE model just because, well, why not? It's $333 with shipping and handling. I think it's $339, and with shipping and handling comes out to like $350. So to me, that's awesome. That's a great deal. From my experience with the other Centurion that I have, these are extremely reliable, very, very easy to shoot, and it's very, very controllable. Even though it has a shorter muzzle, it still has a very, very good solid grip to it, and you can get all 3 fingers at the bottom there. If you have fat fingers, sausage hands, that kind of stuff, obviously it's going to go down a little bit further. But for me, it's just really solid. Now, one of the other things that I did as an upgrade to this gun is I actually put a new striker in here. It's a reduced power. Supposedly it's supposed to, improve the trigger. I don't know if I necessarily will buy into that, but I did enough to actually buy it. But they're very cheap. It would cost me, I think, $12. So it was worth it. I mean, the trigger is your standard, Beretta trigger. There's very little take up there. It's just a really solid trigger. And then it's a very nice break. The reset, again, if you have an APX, it's the same. It's just cleaned up a little bit more with that, I believe, with that reduced power, but I'm not sure until I get it out to the range. Everything else is very standard. I mean, the whole takedown thing, as many of you know, it can be kind of a hassle. I can tell you that this button is basically as stuck as you're going to get. And again, that's probably one of the downsides to the gun. I've actually had to take a punch to actually push this through. And I'm hoping that eventually that's going to, break in a little bit more after you use it a few hundred times. But yeah, right now it's super stiff. Definitely hard to do. I'm trying to do it on this desk and I can't even get it done. So that would definitely be a downside to this. Again, these can be hit and miss sometimes. Sometimes they're super easy, which was my old Centurion. This one is a pain in the ass. I'm not going to lie. Again, you have Ambi Controls. So you can see you've got your slide release here or slide lock, whatever you want to call it. You also have the ability to switch over the magazine release to the right side as well as the left. So that's pretty cool. And, again, just very standard features here. Again, if you're not familiar with the APX line, keep in mind that these are also very modular. So the entire chassis system comes out very similar to the P320s. And in doing so, you have the ability to change the grip frame, the color, the size, again, whatever's available and whatever you want to decide to do. Like I said, this came standard in black, so I wound up getting the OD frame. And again, if I get the FDE one, which I probably will, this is going to go with the FDE slide and the OD frame, and then this slide will go on the FDE frame. So that's pretty cool in my opinion because I think it looks pretty sharp. If I was going to pick out one thing about this gun that is probably the most annoying portion of this gun, it's the fact that so far there are no co-witness sites at all. Now, some may say it's not a big deal, and they're probably right because my knowledge of the red dot systems are very limited, and I admit that. However, I think it would be nice to have that option if you chose to run with it. Again, the rear sight's too low, the front sight's way too low because of the mounting plate, so you're not going to get an effective co-witnessing at all, especially if you put it straight down like that. And I think that's kind of the crappy part of this. I've contacted Trigicon, Night Vision to see if they're going to be doing anything, and so far the answer hasn't been very positive. It's been actually no. Now there are some sites for these available. If you don't have the RDO, there's some Trigicons out there, and I think there's some Ameriglows as well. But so far that's it. Another downside is if you choose to carry this gun, good luck trying to find a holster. They're basically non-existent at this point for the RDO models. There are some out there that I've seen here and there. I know the Armsman right now is hopefully going to send me one for this. He sent me one for my other one, which was an awesome holster. I just need a holster for this because I want to actually carry this once I get a little bit more proficient with the dot. But nonetheless, fantastic gun, guys. I would highly recommend any APX series at all. This one tends to be my favorite based on the size and based on the fact that it is going to be an easy gun to carry. It's an easy gun to hold. It's an easy gun to shoot. Everything really, in my opinion, stacks up out of the box. There's not a heck of a lot to do with this gun. I mean, the trigger is fairly solid. The ergonomics are fantastic. The sights that come standard with them are good metal sights, albeit they're not night sights. Nonetheless, they're still solid, a lot better than some of the offerings out there. I think, again, once people look at this gun, they may say it's ugly, and I kind of understand that. It is. I think beauty is in the eye of the beholder with this handgun, but nonetheless, it's a winner. I would highly recommend any of the APX lines. I love the Centurion model. I think it is absolutely the Goldilocks of all APX guns. And now that they have the RDO out there, I can't see why you wouldn't want to pick one of these up. I think these can be found for probably around $500, maybe $550 around there for the optic ready version. And then for the regular version, $330, or in around $330 to around $340. Guys, I don't know what you're waiting for, but I would jump all over these while you can. So I hope you have a great night. Stay safe. Leave some comments down below what you think about the APX line and what you think about this RDO. And if you whether or not you think this is going to be a really good alternative to some of the other options out there. Again, love the comments. Leave them below. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Hope you have a great night. Stay safe. And if I don't talk to you before Thanksgiving, I hope you guys enjoy. Everyone, as always, freedom is never free.